Today, I'm sitting down with the founder behind one of the most talked about donut concepts on the West Coast, Whack Donuts, located in the heart of Embarcadero, right here in San Francisco. This isn't just a conversation about donuts, it's about betting on yourself, building a brand in one of the hardest cities to operate in, and turning creativity into a real business. I'm joined by the founder, Vandor Hill, and today we're getting into the origin story, the grind behind the scenes, and what it really takes to turn an idea into a community-driven brand. Vandor, how you doing?
I'm good. No sleep, but baker's life.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for having us. It's a beautiful location, beautiful spot.
Thank you. I'm honored that you're here. So this is making me gush on the inside. So appreciate you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And before we jump into it, would you mind letting the people know where they can find you on social media or your websites?
Yeah, Whack Donuts on IG and Google. You can do a Google search, Whack Donuts. I'm on Yelp. I'm on all the usual suspects, but I'm located here, 4 Embarcadero Center, downtown San Francisco, right across from the Ferry Building.
Take me back to the moment when Whack Donuts went from an idea to reality. What pushed you to start it?
Oh, that was 6 years ago during the pandemic in my apartment. Basically, I was grieving. This was really birthed out of a place of grief. So from 2017 to 2020, I had significant family and friends like just passing. So my grandma, lung cancer 2017. A year later, my mom, her cancer came back. 2019 was probably the hardest because I had a double whammy of my old bowling coach and my aunt passing away a week apart from each other as I was flying out for a dance competition in France. I literally went to his funeral that Saturday and I flew out that Wednesday when I got the call that my aunt was like on life support. And then my best friend's dad in 2020, right when the pandemic was starting to like really take off, succumbed to his Alzheimer's. And so while that was happening, my landlord was trying to evict me. So I stopped dancing because everyone knows me from my world of dance as Wacko. I got back into Muay Thai training, and even then that was kind of hard during the pandemic because the proximity. And but one of my homies was like, "Hey, I know you used to work at a donut shop and you bake. You should bake donuts, and just to kind of take your mind off stuff." And I kind of started doing that in my apartment, and I had all these donuts, and I was just like, "Oh crap!" I gave it to a friend, and my boy Fernando was like, "Dude, these are really good. I think you should start slinging these." And um, I went vegan because all my friends that wanted to try them were predominantly vegan. So I was like, okay. So I taught myself how to bake vegan in about 3.5 months. Flash forward, my homegirl from high school had a cafe. She let me pop up there. Then there was a brewery out in Hunters Point. They let me pop up there on the weekends. Verizon somehow found me, and it just became this like word of mouth. The Instagram started blowing up. Got into this space in 2023 through a city program. Also had a $18,000 grant that I qualified for the Ujama Kitchen, and now here I am, 2026. Got another extension on my lease, and yeah, that's how Whack Donuts came to be.
Now, that's an incredible story. Especially being able to turn so many, depressive or negative life events into something positive, and then to actually manifest it into a real thing so people can actually enter into your place of business and experience one of these donuts or experience the energy that you give off. You know what I mean? That's an incredible story. You launched during a chaotic time for the food business, which was kind of during the pandemic. What made you confident that this could actually work?
I mean, not gonna lie, like I was definitely having my moments of doubt just because I was literally doing this out of my apartment.
Yeah.
So I tell folks I was like MC Hammer when he was slinging tapes out of his like trunk back in the day. But once I started seeing the momentum of all my friends were like, "Yo," even my Muay Thai coach rode on his bike. He was like, "All right, what's up, bro? I want to get some donuts off you." So it really went from 0 to 60. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, I think I'm onto something here. And now I'm limited because I can't keep busting out all these donuts from my apartment. And that's when I was like, all right, I registered with the state. I got my logo, official. And yeah, I sought out a commissary kitchen in the Mission, and that upped my production. I think that raised the quality of my donut as well. And I was like, okay, this isn't just a habit. I'm gonna lock in and have this be a full business now.
And where did the name Whack Donuts come from? How did you come up with that one?
So that, again, like I said earlier, so everyone knows me in the breaking scene as Wacko. So that's the name that I got when I was competing. And when I was finally trying to come up with a name for the brand, I was like, well, a lot of my dance homies know I bake and break, but I also want a name that just sticks out. So I was like, I'm gonna call it Whack Donuts. And instantly I already saw in my head like a tagline. I was like, oh, these donuts are whack. And so when I initially was having my friends test them, I was like, hey, can you record yourself just saying that these donuts are whack? And they're like, but they're not, they're delicious. I was like, yeah, I know. So, because in the world of hip hop, when you say something's whack, it's trash. But just like me, when I first started, I was terrible at breaking. And so people would call me whack all the time. And then when I got better, I was just like, no, I'm gonna keep that. So Wacko stems from a childhood nickname I got that I brought into breaking. And I was like, yeah, this is a name that's gonna stick out. So, and I hear it all the time. People are like, Whack Donuts, what's that? So it's a good talking piece.
Absolutely. And so you mentioned earlier that you focus on vegan donuts. Was that a personal mission, or was that a gap in the market? Like, what led to you focusing on that vegan aspect of it?
The thing that got me to focus more on actually just straight up just doing all vegan was one, a lot of my friends happen to be vegan, which surprised me. I was like, oh wow, I didn't know you were vegan. And I took it also as a challenge because there's this weird stigma behind healthy foods, something that's vegetarian, vegan, whatever. And I just was like, you know what, I'm gonna try and make this like a donut that no one can really tell the difference. And even though I do a cake style versus deep fried, people appreciated that, they may look kind of small, but they're hefty.
Yeah.
All you need is one or two. But if with your boot thing or whatever, get yourself a little half dozen, y'all are set. But the more I researched and looked at a lot of vegan desserts get a bad rap. So I was like, I'm gonna accept that challenge or pull my Jordans. I took that personally. So yeah. And then plus in terms of cost and ingredients, I use high quality stuff. So when the egg crisis happened last year, people were like, oh, are you good? I'm like, oh, I don't use eggs. So it's all plant-based.
Ahead of the game.
Yeah. So that's when that happened, I was really I'm glad that I stuck to those my devices with that. And plus it's allowed me to learn how to pivot. I can use stuff in my kitchen. My grandma, she always has something extra, something that she can make into an ingredient. So if I don't have the egg replacer that I use, I can always use chia seed or flax seed. I know I can't use honey, but I can use maple syrup. I can use dates and turn that into a syrup. So I'm a mad scientist at this point.
What's one flavor that surprised you that became a fan favorite?
Probably the cinnamon sugar donut. It's the cheapest and fastest donut I can make, but I'm constantly tweaking it. So I do a brown butter cinnamon sugar. So it caramelizes, it hardens, and it's just when the sun's out, it melts, and it's just the perfect marriage. The other one though, outside of the cinnamon sugar, is my peach cobbler donut. And peach cobbler is the first thing I ever learned how to bake from my aunt and my grandma. And I always tell folks if I love you, I make you a peach cobbler. So to my exes, if I made you a peach cobbler, you messed up,
And so, man, it sounds like baking is very personal for you. It's a lot of family ties to it. So do you feel a sense of, I guess, closeness with your family or with their ancestors while you're baking, while you're, running a business?
Oh yeah, I mean, watching my grandma, just watching the women in my family just cut up in the kitchen, man. Everyone can either bake or cook.
Yeah.
And my earliest memories of my grandma was just being in there, the kitchen, and watching her like make cakes, and then she would let me lick the icing,
Yeah.
you know. And then when I was living with my aunts when I was older, same thing. It's just like just watching them get down in the kitchen always like fascinated me. And so once I started living on my own, that was like kind of my go-to thing. I like cooking at home and to save, money too. And it was just this hidden talent that like I discovered and I was actually pretty good at. So anytime I'm like, making my flavors or my donuts, it's like 2, 3 in the morning. Yeah, I'm always thinking about like, my grandma, my mom, or my aunt, my grandparents, So it gets me in the zone, and that's why I have like, my like, pictures of them. So I always like keep going.
You went from pop-ups to a physical space. What changed mentally when that happened?
Man, just being more present and aware, like, okay, I'm not just popping up. It's like now it's like I'm dedicated 5 days a week to being in this space. But also it's cool because my customers can now go somewhere central consecutively versus like, oh, I might be popping up here in Oakland, or I might be popping up here in Berkeley, or I'm over
Yeah.
here in San Francisco, or I'm in this neighborhood. So the mental toughness that one has to have learning to deal with days like weather, or it's hot, or it's a holiday, or I'm not selling out. Like one day I'm selling out before 12. Other days it's a slow burn. It's literally till like 2, or I'll stay open another hour just to get product going. So it's like, how much money am I really making? Am I paying myself? It's just all these like things you inherit and have to learn as a business owner. And I have to separate the two. It's like when I'm in my kitchen, I'm Baker Vandor. When I'm here in the shop, I'm selling my products. So it's like once I learned how to separate those two, it makes getting through the day here in the shop a lot easier. I don't stress over not selling out because I could always sell my donuts the next day. And I was like, oh, dude, you could sell these tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, that's right. Oh, okay, cool. So it's like once you make that like connection in your head, you're just like, oh, okay. Or I have to make 1,000 donuts, and it's just like, well, if I split that up into like batches, it's totally doable. So I stressed way more in the beginning to where I'm at now. The stress is still there. It's just like I can manage it better.
Did you have any mentors you could rely on when you were, first starting the physical store?
Yeah, I reached out to one of my old bosses from back in the day. She was definitely integral in just getting me to that mental state where she tried to break me for the opening ceremony here that had the London Breed here. She was like, "You got to make 600 donuts," and I hadn't done that at that point in like one night. And she was like, "I'm gonna break you for a reason," and I was able to do it. And now I can make 1,000 donuts,
Yeah.
by myself. So having a mentor like her in the beginning, especially when I was getting in here, she was able to kind of see stuff that wasn't like making sense. Like the kids say, the math wasn't mathing. When it came to our initial like help like walk through how even like setting up the space. So I definitely owe a lot to her. So
What's something about running a food business in San Francisco that people might underestimate?
sometimes you won't get that support from the city that you think you automatically should, or even like your property management. When I was in the vacant survivor program, things were pretty much covered. Once I became a full-on tenant, I was responsible for like HVAC and all these other things. And so the costs do add up over time. You know, it's easy to start a business. It's just maintaining is just where it gets like hard.
Whack Donuts has personality. How intentional were you about building a brand versus just making donuts?
I think I knew like right from the gate, um, because I went to art school. Um, I went to the Art Institute for 4 years, got my bachelor's in graphic design. So when I couldn't handle stuff, I definitely had homies that helped me out. I made the basic logos, I like to call it, but all my other stuff to keep that synergy of like my hip hop lineage. I have people that can do hand styles, and they're like, "Yo, bro, let me give you this." And so, yeah, it definitely was intentional. Like I said, the slogan I already had in my head, "These donuts are whack." Because I used to work at a donut shop back in the day, like, the Cambodian family like schooled me on everything because Cambodians basically brought donuts to the States. So shout out to my Cambodian brothers and sisters. And that's why I still kept the aesthetic with the pink, because they're the reason why we have pink donut boxes. When you think donuts, you think the pink box. So I definitely wanted to keep that. And then people, like I said, that know me from my dance world would latch on to that. But then people that don't know me from the dance world are like, "Oh, this is another guy making donuts." But he's like, "Wait, whack donuts." And then they come in and they see like, "Oh, this guy's a dancer." I was like, yeah. So it was intentional from the get.
And so how does like combining dance with the art help to shape the business that we see today?
Well, basically for me, I pull a lot of aspects from when, I was competing. I just go after it, so I see what other people are doing, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not really worried about what they're doing. I'm going to do my thing.
Yeah.
And so that's how my style of dance stood out. I'm not trying to look like the other guy or girl across from me. So keeping that same mind like frame, I brought that into the business where it's like, well, okay, I'm aware of people, but this is what Dynamo does. This is what Bob's does. This is what Rolling Pin does, but I'm gonna do something different in my way. So yeah.
What role has the community support played in keeping the business alive and growing? Like I'm seeing you hosting different classes and different workshops on Instagram. The community is really involved in Whack Donuts.
I have made new friends / customers through the business, and then all my friends from the dance world that really were championing me in the beginning have been like super supportive. They were there in the early days where I was literally just figuring things out, but when they saw, like, they're like, "Dude, why does your donut look so professional?" I think that's how I knew I was like locked in. And so because I also used to do a lot of events here in the city, I look at the space outside the shop and I'm like, well, doing community stuff has always been like second nature to me. So I was like, you know what? I also want to put on these events so the public can like interact and see that I'm also donuts, but I'm also dance. So that's a huge important thing to me, is doing these community-based events. I always teach a line dance to get people involved, because they're like, "Well, I can't spin on my head." I'm like, "We're not getting you spin on your head, but we're gonna put on some Cameo. We're gonna put on some Earth, Wind, and Fire, and I just want to get everyone moving." And I think that's a lost art. People come to watch, the spectacle of art and movement, but I'm like, "Nah, you're gonna get up now, and we're gonna get you in this." So I pull heavily from our family gatherings where music was always on, and seeing my grandparents dance when I never thought they could dance always like blew me away. So I like pull from that in doing these events, and people are always curious, like, how do I come up with my glazes? How do I come up with my flavors? I'm like, well, you know what? Why don't I just start teaching people and bringing them into my world? And so like I just did for Valentine's Day, we had our love box. It was like 4 red velvet cake donuts, chocolate dipped strawberries, 14 karat gold finish. People were buying them on Friday, and then there were people were like, "I actually want to make one." Okay, so I did a workshop, and it was awesome.
So you like really have your ear to the streets, just like listening to the people and getting the feedback, implementing that immediately.
Good, bad, indifferent. Going to school for graphic design, we got tore up when we had to like explain like our art projects, and people would critique us. Breaking, you are obviously all the time, people are on you, like your footwork sucks or your power looks whack. So have traveled all those worlds, and even why I tell people I don't really stress over Google reviews anymore, or if I'm not on the list. It's cool, but if it's not bumping my foot traffic, it doesn't really bother me. But I think another lost art is actually listening, like halfway in, halfway out of like the positive feedback that I get as well as the negative feedback. But if one overpowers the other, then I'm just like, okay, I'm a math scientist anyways. I'm always tweaking my recipes. So
Yeah.
you're gonna have my donuts at some point today, but if you come back a week later, it's not gonna be the same. I'm actually trying to make the quality go up.
One of your latest products are the dog donuts. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, so the new joint that I'm working on is a vegan dog treat, and the inspiration from that was from a nice uh, lady that reached out to me some years ago and wanted to kind of like do a dog donut. It didn't make sense to me at the time, and but I think she incepted me, and it was back there, and I wanted to do a dog treat because I do get a lot of dog customers in this part of the town, which is hard because most shops you can't bring in dogs unless they're like service dogs or whatever. I roll my eyes just because I think that's lame, but whatever. And I had these mini donut pans that I ordered, but they were the wrong size. And like a lot of things at Whack Donuts, I make happy accidents. And so I was like, wait a minute, let me try and do this recipe. And I just, again, researched what dogs can and can't eat. So I found the proper, ingredients, and I just tried it on a whim. And Dee, who owns Hey Neighbor here in the city, uh, they were like, "Yo, I think you're onto something," because Dino, the cafe dog, very picky, but he devoured the treat in like 5 seconds. And then I did my Soul Glaze Sunday here. One of my DJs, he has a dog, same thing, destroyed it. And yeah, so I think that's the thing that I'm really zeroing in on is like dog treats for my customers that have dogs. So I think that's going to be the one that really like propels me into just like, all right, man, this is the Pandora's box that you open.
Exactly.
You get ready.
And I like that you referred to it as like a happy accident, because I feel like some of the best inventions or the best creations are those things that are born out of, again, like accident.
And I grew up watching KQED, so Bob Ross is my dude. So
Yeah,
there's no
exactly.
mistakes, only happy accidents. So I was
Exactly.
like, all right, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. So when you think about success today, does it look different than when you first started?
Oh yeah. I mean, again, this started from me just really coping with grief and transforming that grief into something that I could share with people. Because when I make food for others, I'm all about not being sad or upset because I really do feel like that impacts what you're making. Did I imagine it my success to this level? No. I mean, I still feel like I'm only scratching the surface, but I'm way more confident today than I was 6 years ago in like making this work. And I made my 2 year like anniversary post, and I realized like, man, like, all my friends that come in here out of town local, they're like, dude, but I remember when you did this from your apartment, and look at you, you got a brick and mortar. And I'm just like, I'm still very bad at like acknowledging like that success, because some success to some people is like franchising, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, I am still standing in San Francisco 2 years later, and that's not easy. So yeah, I still have to kind of like scratch my head sometimes and be like, wow, it's working. Not to the effect to some people may see, but for me, it's like considering my track record and how things started to where it is now, and still learning a lot. I don't have it all figured out, but I definitely am more confident and have a better understanding on how to like mitigate a lot of things. So, yeah.
Speaking of still working, I mean, you were just recently um, featured in a publication, being named as one of the best donuts in San Francisco. What was that moment like for you?
Oh wow, yeah. I didn't even know until like one of my customers linked me. That's how I found out about a lot of stuff. Like, oh, you're on this, right? I'm like, I had no idea. I'm just so like, I'm just trying to make good donuts.
Yeah.
And yeah, when they linked me that, I was just like, oh wow, that's funny because I know one of the writers kind of dissed my donuts like a few years ago, and then I saw that and I was like, oh wow, cool. So it's I definitely have my like, that's dope, that's cool. If I keep it going, because I don't get too lost in like being featured and stuff, because again, like I said earlier, like I don't seek out those things. I just feel like if people think I have a dope product and they want to give me that shine, it'll happen. But I already know I have a dope product, and my clientele that consistently supports me like is proof of that. So for me, it's like, I guess the next step is like world domination, if you will.
Yeah.
So it's like definitely getting like a strong foothold in the Bay, because this is where I'm born and raised. And then we'll see what I can do after that. Like, okay, do I want to take this somewhere else? It's gonna happen, but it's like, these features definitely do help, shine a little bit of light on me, but I don't get too hype over it. I definitely, if I have my 5 minutes and I'm like, all right, back to the kitchen.
Yeah, that's kind of my next question too. Is like, what is that long-term vision for you? So you mentioned world domination. I agree with that. I'm on that same. I'm of that same mindset too. But how do you define that?
Like I said, I want Whack Donuts to kind of still be like a Bay thing. I want it like when you come to the Bay, it's like, oh, Whack Donuts, we got to hit up Whack Donuts. So I want to have that beacon of like, you come here first, and then maybe I might do something in SoCal. I might do something in Vegas. I don't know. I might go to somewhere like in Portland. I mean, hell, I'm even thinking like when I'm like retiring, like I want to like end in Japan.
That's fire.
I've taught out there. I have a fan base, with my dance, but now my fan base also knows I make donuts, so why not? Our people are out there, so I definitely feel like I could do stuff stateside, and then like I do my events, if I could do it here at home, do it in another city, the next step is overseas. So yeah.
Oh, that's incredible, man. Well, look, we've been talking about the donuts. I'm ready to try one. You mind if we go and check some out?
Let's get it.
Let's get it, man. So yeah. So what I'm looking for, I'm gonna need like 2 of these lemon. What kind you like?
And I can glaze up some more stuff for you too.
What's your personal favorite?
Actually, now it's like my kids, a little more. Definitely gotta have the brown butter cinnamon sugar.
Thank you, sir. The package is secured, Yeah.
There you go,
Thank
bro.
you, boss. Appreciate you, man.
Oh, we got the Starfleet Academy lemon zest right there. That's the brown butter. Obviously, that's the vanilla and sprinkles. You got the chocolate cacao, and then you got the Oreo cookie, which is the flavor of the month of February. But yeah, go for that.
I'm gonna go lemon.
The Starfleet.
Starfleet?
Yep. Yeah, so you have to go all the way down and then hang a left. Okay? No, you're good.
Banger.
I got it. So yeah, just
Banger.
all the way down, bro, and then hang a left. Okay?
10 out of 10, I do recommend. 10 out of 10, I would buy again.
Wait, the real question is it whack?
Man, this whack. No, this is a 10 out of 10, bro. This one is crazy.